All right, we see oil production in Nigeria has become an Achilles heel for Nigeria's forex inflow. And now the NNPCL has declared a state of emergency on oil and gas production. Join us for this conversation is Dumebi Oluwole, a senior economist with FDC. Join us right here in the studio. Great to have you.
Thank you so much.
It's another state of emergency declared. Hard for food. I don't know if this is the first time we're having for oil and gas production.
I mean, I would say at least since my career started, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. And I would say that when you look at the content of the speech that the NNPCL CEO gave, Mile Kyari, you realize that right now it's not something to be exactly worried about, because when you, it's just like the tab where we say, oh, the fight against corruption. That's kind of like what this is. And it's simply, right now, it simply means nothing until we see some level of action regarding all the war and all the fight against what is, significantly hampering Nigeria's production. But to even put it in context, if you ask us, so what is a state of emergency really?
Right.
Yeah, and it's just a situation where either the government or a government entity decides to regain control or something. So they suspend their original constitutional procedures to regain control of their processes. And when you put that in the context of oil production for Nigeria, what exactly are we regaining control of right now? And it's just, we need to regain control of our production, of our oil coming out of the ground. And what exactly is stopping? Getting rid of theft. Exactly. So what exactly are the things that are not making this thing happen, which is, all theft and vandalism? And if you even want to look at the part of the players in the oil sector, what exactly is disincentivizing them from bringing in more cash, especially in upstream oil and gas sector? You realize that it's still the same issue, oil theft and vandalism. And per the NNPCL's CEO statement, you realize that he did mention that Nigeria has the capacity to conveniently produce about 2 million barrels of oil every day. And you realize that that's even, it's pretty easy for us to do considering what we've done in the past, right? These issues of oil theft and vandalism, if you check the track record, you realize that it only became a really big issue within almost about 10 years ago. And every year, even in our budgets, we now account for it. It has become almost like a constitutional thing that we now account for in Nigeria today. And regaining control of that process is something that we cannot overlook right now. It has become imminent, right? And now it has gone beyond just saying you want to regain control, but let's see it happen. Let Nigeria's oil production become what it's supposed to be so we can earn the forex that we need to substantially support the economy.
It was a refining problem.
Exactly.
We didn't have the refineries to refine our oil, which we had in good amounts. But now we have refineries coming up, we don't have the oil. Exactly. That's what we're saying.
So the thing is, aside from when the conversation, you can think of it like trying to treat the symptom of an illness. So you're trying to take everybody's attention to the symptoms rather than the illness itself or the root cause of the illness itself. At the times where we had conversations about refining capacity, refineries are defunct and stuff, we were still having issues with oil production. Those issues were still there. But the problem is that we never addressed those issues. We kept patting them on the back till it became substantially what it is today. And right now, it's not still something that cannot be curbed. It can be curbed if we put our minds to it. And this is basically, I think I'm going to make something like a bold statement here this morning. We can't keep joking around with the economy. And the reason I'm saying this is because whether we like it or not, crude oil is still the mainstay of Nigeria's economy today. We're trying to ramp up non-oil production, non-oil exports, and all of those things, but it's still not as substantial because the key sources of non-oil export earnings were still having issues there, and the revenue-generating part of our economy, the fiscal part, is still highly dependent on oil. The fact that all state governments enjoy today is highly dependent on oil revenue. So if we do not focus on boosting our oil, which we can still do that, even though the world is talking about transition from that, but we can still produce enough and sell and generate enough revenue. And unfortunately, when you look at the multiplier effect of when we don't produce enough oil and we don't generate enough revenue, you see that the government's coffers are lean. And then there's a scramble to generate more revenue. And then you start seeing the government taking up a lot more tax reforms. They're increasing taxes for businesses, increasing taxes for importers, increasing levies, increasing taxes even on consumers. And eventually it goes down to affect people negatively. Cost of living is higher, living standards are poor, more people are falling below the poverty line. And unfortunately, there will come a time where all of this bottled up, all of this that's been bottled up will become a public outburst. Because at each point, the federal government is breaking the social contract between itself and the Nigerian people. Right. And before you know it, public discontent will become a thing. And it will keep brewing till there's public outcry. And a very good case, a very good example or pointer to this is what is happening in Kenya today. And even though we don't want that situation in Nigeria, it's somewhat inevitable if we do not start getting things right. And a very good pointer to this, again, is the fact that we do not see the lean fiscal coffers on how the government is spending. It is one thing to try to generate revenue and build your fiscal space. Right. It's another thing to actually cut down on unnecessary spending.
Cut down spending.
And we've not seen that.
All right, we're definitely hoping for that. And when all the refineries actually come on stream, yeah. I hope we don't become an oil importing nation. Hopefully.
We keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you so much, Dumebi Oluwole. It was great having you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right, that's it from me on Business Morning. We'll give you a summary of a stock market close later on today. Thanks for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. I hand things back over to the Sunrise Daily team.